Hi guys, it's Amerie. Happy New Year. It is 2016, a fresh start, and I wanted to begin with my New Year's Bookolutions. It's a tag, so you can do this if you want to, but if not, just watch this. It's pretty much my 2016 bookish goals plus one non-bookish goal. So let's get into it. Number one, a series I plan to begin is The Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson. I have both of these Stormlight Archive books. They are huge, but I haven't even started reading one yet. I actually still haven't read Mistborn yet. I read a little of Elantris. I want to get back to that. I put it down and then I just didn't end up picking it back up again. So that's actually another one I want to read. Actually, you know what I should say? Not only do I want to read this series or begin reading this series, I want to read all of the Brandon Sanderson books that I currently have. That means I would be finishing Elantris, I would finish The Rhythmatist, I would read the first two books of the Stormlight Archive, and well, at least one book. Let's not get out of control. These are big books. At least one book. I mean, and it has taken me like 3 years to read book 2 of the series by George R.R. Martin. I didn't even realize it was 3 years until I looked at my Goodreads little thingy, and it was like, I was like 3 years. The first one took me 1 year. The second I was reading kind of episodically. I would dip in and out of it like you would a series, like a television show or something. And I love it. I love it so much, and it gives me such a cozy feeling when I'm reading it. I just don't know why it's taken me 3 years. I just haven't devoted enough time to it. But speaking specifically, a series I plan to begin is The Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson. I want to begin this series, and I want to read everything in the Mistborn book that he's put out so far, because I have the first 2 Mistborn books. I also have Elantris, and I would like to read that. I really respect him as a writer and also as a teacher, so I definitely want to read all of his work. A series I plan to finish is the Red Rising trilogy by Pierce Brown. Now, I read the first book when it came out, and I've been meaning to read the second one. The third one comes out sometime this year, so I probably will read them back to back, or maybe not even back to back. I found that I don't know if I really love reading books back to back, like the series back to back that way. 2 books max. After that, I definitely need a palate cleanser. Anyway, I definitely want to finish this series. A book I've put off reading year after year, but will finally read is The Corrections by Jonathan Franzen. I've been meaning to get to this for so long. I read Freedom and I loved it. I've actually reread that book like 2.5 times. I really love Jonathan Franzen's voice, and I've heard this one is even better than Freedom. A lot of people who loved The Corrections didn't particularly like Freedom that much, so I think I'm in for a treat. This has been at the top of my priority TBR list for ever since I purchased the book, which was a couple of years ago, so it's time to get to this. A book or series that I plan to reread is Before I Fall by Lauren Oliver. I love this book. I've talked about this book before, but for those of you who haven't seen any of the videos where I've referred to this book, it's about a girl who dies. Not a spoiler, it happens in the very first chapter, first couple of pages. She dies and she's trying to figure out how she died, the circumstances surrounding her death, as well as correcting some of the mistakes that she made in her life, as well as on, I think in the last day or the last few days leading to her death. So it's combining that Groundhog's Day element with the mystery of what happened, how she died, and how all the little pieces came together. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about this book because it's about popular girls, mean girls, high school, and I wasn't sure if I'd be really interested in that. And I was totally surprised, blown away by this book. I know Lauren Oliver has said that, you know, in retrospect, she would probably cut like 20,000 words from this book because she would make it tighter and everything. And I suppose that could be the case. You know, she's the writer, so she would know what she wants to change, but I love that the book is this length. I love everything in this book. I definitely want to reread it. A genre of which I like to read more is, this is where the Book Riot Read Harder Challenge 2016 comes in. I like to read a wide variety of genres, but I think that doing this challenge this year will really help broaden my scope. I mean, some of the challenges are things that one would probably accomplish anyway without even trying. I think I'm gonna put the list here. Yeah. Wouldn't it be kind of funny though if I filmed the whole thing like this and then somehow putting the list here didn't work out and so I'm just sitting awkwardly to the side and there's like nothing there. Okay, so the list is, I'm moving forward as if the list is here. So again, like there are some things that I would probably naturally do. However, there are some things that I wouldn't automatically do. For instance, reading a book of poetry. I'm not even sure if that's part of the 2016 list. Reading a book of poetry might have been part of another Read Harder challenge, I'm not sure, because I felt like I could have sworn I've seen that somewhere. but that's not part of the challenge this year. The Book Riot Read Harder Challenge 2016 is posted online, and I will definitely include a link in the description box so you can go there and check it out yourself. There's a little printout with little check boxes. You know, for us nerds, we love to like tick off the box when we accomplish something. So that's there, but I'm also gonna list it right here so you can see it. Read a horror book, read a nonfiction book about science, read a collection of essays, read a book out loud to someone else, read a middle grade novel, read a biography, not memoir or autobiography, read a dystopian or post-apocalyptic novel, read a book originally published in the decade you were born, listen to an audiobook that has won an Audie Award, read a book over 500 pages long, read a book under 100 pages, read a book by or about a person that identifies as transgender, read a book that is set in the Middle East, read a book that is by an author from Southeast Asia, read a book of historical fiction set before 1900, read the first book in a series by a person of color, read a non-superhero comic that debuted in the last 3 years, read a book that was adapted into a movie, then watch the movie and debate which is better, read a nonfiction book about feminism or dealing with feminist themes, read a book about religion, fiction or nonfiction, read a book about politics in your country or another, fiction or nonfiction, read a food memoir, read a play, read a book with a main character that has a mental illness. So that's a pretty cool list. Some of those books, actually, I think did I read a food memoir? The Dorito Effect, it wasn't really a memoir. Fast Food Nation. I think Fast Food Nation would be something that would qualify as a food memoir, but I already read that. I don't want to reread something. I want to read something new, so I'll have to think about that one. So there are plenty of great things there, plenty of things on the list, great things to challenge yourself into broadening your horizons, and that's definitely something that I want to do. I didn't see read a translated work, although that could be, you know, Southeast Asia. That could possibly be a translated work if someone's from Southeast Asia, or unless they're of Southeast Asian descent. A series by a person of color, that could also be something that's translated, or it could be someone who's of color that's American. So it depends. There is a way that you can, yeah. I think my approach to this is going to be to read what I want to read and then do these little check-ins where I can see where I'm at in the challenge. And then if I feel like I haven't really accomplished some of the goals, I can then focus my attention on accomplishing some of those very specific goals. So I'm really excited about that. I think the Book Riot Read Harder Challenge 2016 is definitely something that's going to be a lot of fun. The number of books I want to read this year, that would be 50. I'm keeping it at 50. Sometimes I go over and I'm like 58. I think this year I really just hit 50, or maybe I had 51. I have to double check. I keep it at 50 because I'm able to read at a comfortable pace. I can always read more, but that enables me to do all the other things that I need to do. So 50 is a number that just works for me. So I'll be doing that again this year. One of my non-bookish resolutions is the same as last year. I totally failed at this one though. That was to learn Korean. I can read and write Korean very well. However, my speaking skills, they leave a lot to be desired. I mean, I know more than I think I do because I just have to be more confident, and when I'm like, have my back up against a wall, I usually can figure it out. But seriously, that is like I don't have a lot of regrets in life. I don't really believe in regrets, but one of the things that I'm regretting so far is constantly going every year without learning my language. I'm like, that's my language. That's part of who I am. Why don't I speak it? It annoys me so much. And it was my first language, which is, to me, that's even sadder. You know what? I need to stop complaining about that. I need to stop complaining about it and beating myself up about not speaking the language. And I have the Rosetta Stone, and I also have the French Rosetta Stone too. I love the French language. One of my goals is to be able to speak multiple languages. I would love to be fluent in Korean and French and Spanish and possibly German. Yeah, so that's definitely my resolution. I made virtually no progress on it last year. It was also my non-bookish resolution for last year. This year, same thing. And I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. I believe that whenever you put your mind to something, you can accomplish that goal. So on that note, those were my New Year's Bookolutions plus one non-bookish resolution. I want to tell you guys, whether you're into resolutions, whether you're just into setting goals, or maybe you're not into setting goals at all and you just like to ride the wave, I can totally understand that as well. Either way, it's a new year, it's a fresh start. Even as the year progresses, every day is a new fresh start, so it's never too late to start whatever it is that you want to do. Happy New Year! Congratulations on your fresh start, on all of our fresh starts. Dream bigger, carpe diem, and don't forget to enjoy the journey. Until next time, I will talk to you later. Bye!